name is Richard, and I'm coming today from a Star Trek convention here in San Francisco. They got some of the actors here, they got people in costumes, they sell phasers if you want it. They got all the Star Trek, and we got somebody from Star Trek as well. We got John de Lancie on the show. We got a chance to talk to him. So stay with us. It's all coming up on Sidewalks. Right now we have a guy who looks very familiar if you really look closely at him. He looks like Scotty from the movies Scotty of Star Trek. This is Karl Sheldon, right?
Right, from Vermont, yeah.
You're from Vermont. Now, have you always been into the Star Trek?
I was a fan, since '66, but I never dressed like this because I've been busy as an engineer for 43 years.
Real engineer.
Real engineer. And partners and a lot of people says, you look like Scotty, you walk like him. And I said, well, I don't know, well, maybe we can go out and join the band because I met Jimmy years ago and now he's gone and people haven't seen him in 8 years. And so I said, all right, I'll go out along and meet the people. I'm not out to make money or do anything of that.
What was your first experience when you met him?
He was very cordial and he's very open with the people.
All right, you do look like Scotty from the movies. Now, do you sound like Scotty?
You changed the resonator array.
That's really good. Now, besides the Star Trek, you were telling me some interesting story about yourself because as an engineer, you've done something and you want to let people know about it.
Well, I had developed Parkinson's 3 years ago, and I was as bad as Michael J. Fox. So I thought my career was over, and I decided, well, something just beamed in my head. Said, go to my lab and make this. So anybody can take that for what it's worth, but I went to my lab, I made this device, it looks like a hand phaser, put it on my forehead, it's tuned to the electromagnetic field, and 15 minutes later, everything stopped. I threw the pills away, and I've been like this since.
He's more than just an engineer. He's also a doctor in real life.
We are with Michael Aaron at the Star Trek convention, and you're back.
Well, I guess this would be my year anniversary of starting the convention circuit last year. So I did San Francisco last year, and it's been really fun, and it's inspired me to get back into working as an actor, and I've been lucky to pick up a couple jobs this last year. One of them was a independent feature film where I worked on that for a few days, and then I just finished doing a commercial for a local camera company that makes bags for camera equipment.
If there's any role that you could play, now with the experience you have, the things you do inside and outside of the industry with your interests and desire to help the world in the way that you do, what would it be?
You know, for me, one of my favorite films is the Godfather series, at least 1 and 2. So I don't know if it helps the world at all, obviously, but I like the meat on the bone type of script and the work that was done in films like that. So I'm a big fan of drama and directors that give actors a chance to actually think and really dig into the work. So something that's a little bit more meaty is more up my alley.
When you come to these conventions, you get to meet a lot of people and a lot of people who got a chance to be even a guest spot or a couple episodes of Star Trek. And we have one person here. His name is John Steyr. He played the original Alexander, Worf's son on Star Trek Next Generation. How you doing?
Good. It's Steyr, by the way.
Oh, Steyr, I apologize.
Fine.
So how many spots did you do on Star Trek Next Generation? And which episode did you start off with, just to remind the viewers?
One, I was the original portrayal of the character on Reunion, and then Brian Bonsall was the next to take over the part. They aged the character pretty quickly, so they wanted somebody bigger and older. They wanted it to be a fierce warrior character, so they moved the character along really quickly in the aging process. So in total, there were 4 or 5 that played the role.
All right, come on, let's tell me the truth here. Was it disappointing? You wanted to come back.
Oh yeah, it was crushing. They put a measuring tape up to my back. That's what it came down to.
You went to audition for the role. They're going to say you're playing a Klingon, but you can remember 5. You're going to be playing a Klingon son. Remember anything about, okay, I got to put this makeup on?
Well, I mean, I think that was a huge part of being cast into the role, too. And that's why I'm the second youngest, I guess, ever to be on the show. Clint Howard was like 3 months younger than me on the original series. But I don't think he had any prosthetics attached. He was just playing himself in his... Well, no, he was 5 years old at the time. This is on the original series.
Yeah.
But I was the youngest, I think the youngest ever to be put in makeup. And the casting process more than anything, I think, is what it came down to. and not casting as in role casting, the physical casting, because to have the face molds built, they put me in plaster for 5.5 hours, 6 hours, with 2 straws up my nose, and no light, no sound, and I had to sit perfectly still in a chair. And I don't think very many, 5.5, 6-year-olds can do that.
How did you do that?
I don't know. I guess I had unusual levels of patience at that time.
And we got 2 of the co-stars of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We got Aaron and Max. Welcome. How you guys doing?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, you may not recognize them out of costume, but if you take a look at this picture right now, there they are, Rom and Nog. You guys really stole the show in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, the truth is, it's the writers. The writers just gave us a lot of great stuff to work with and continue to write for us for the 7 years. I mean, we really just got the script when we got it when we were working, and then whatever it was is we just ran with it. But they just kept giving us more and more work. So really the credit goes to the writers. They just gave us some great work to play with.
It's the writing.
It's all about the writers. We just show up.
All the supporting characters on that show really became the stars of that show in a lot of ways.
The reason why I think it was so heavily influenced by the recurring guest stars was because it needed to, because it was a station where everything was coming to the station at that point. If they didn't fill it with life, I think that would have been a much more difficult show to write, just with the regular actors having problems, week after week after week. It needed to have a life on the station and around the station. So the recurring guest stars like us and Andy Robinson and Casey Biggs, they filled in all the cracks of all the stories to be the foundation for the show, and it just filled the whole thing with life. And again, you credit that to the writers. The writers built that world. They made that world, and it was hard for them because it was a different kind of a Trek, because it wasn't going somewhere. Everything else was coming to it. So, they kind of turned it upside down a little bit.
So after Star Trek Deep Space Nine ended, what have you guys been doing?
I did some things.
You did? I didn't. I actually started my own business because I had 2 boys. Well, I still have them, but they were newly born at that time, 97 and 99. So I needed to make sure my money was coming in, so I started up a business that would allow me to stay home. And now my boys are 16 and 14, so kind of getting closer to getting back into the game a little bit more than I have been.
If you're a Star Trek fan and you're out there, I say thank you for watching our show.
When you come to a Star Trek convention, you get to meet some wonderful people, and one of the wonderful people you get to meet is John de Lancie, an actor you will all remember for his role as Q on Star Trek The Next Generation. How you doing, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
Do you like going to these conventions?
I do. I get to meet a lot of interesting people.
Was acting always something you wanted to do?
I was not a very good student. I was dyslexic. I didn't know it was, and they didn't know that that's what it was back then. And I was asked to do a play at the end of the year, and I was good at it. And for the first time in my life, I was good at something at school, and so I sort of grabbed onto that like a life preserver.
What was your first acting role?
Oh, that was a number of years later. So let's say it was 10 years later, or maybe not quite as much, but it was at the American Shakespeare Festival.
Because of Star Trek and playing Q, you got involved with sci-fi. Did you feel like after doing that, because you appeared on Stargate, Torchwood, those type of sci-fi shows, do you think you're getting kind of people like to see you in the sci-fi genre?
I think 50 years ago, let's say, before I had a career, 50 years ago, you could not do any sort of crossover. 20 years ago, just a little bit. Now you can cross over much more easily. There's still the thing of movies being, or films and plays and TV, and there's still a gap in there, but there's some crossover. So I don't feel that it has kept me from doing things as much as it's really given me the opportunity to do a lot of things that I might not have had if I hadn't done it. Yeah.
So is there one role that
you know, maybe a role or a part that you would love to do if you had a chance?
I really enjoyed the work in which I did in Breaking Bad because usually I play, you know, kind of tricksters and high energy sort of guys. This was somebody who was not manipulating anything. He was a victim, as it were, and it was just it was more interesting for me to do. I'd like more roles like that, but we'll see. Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk to you. I mean, got a huge line waiting for you. One last point for the fans out there. There's a lot of people out there watching this right now. They don't get a chance to talk to you. Do you have something you'd like to say to your fans out there who have supported your career over these years?
Everyone who's under 20, read. Don't watch as much television as you do.